Round 1. Fight.
Heroes never die.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
Power, sex, power. They both come down to one thing.
Hungry gamers.
Hello, and welcome, boys and girls, to the 225th episode of the Hungry Gamers podcast. We are powered by ATEBIT.net and those sexy legends over at Audio-Technica and Manscaped, but more on those guys and gals later. I'm your extremely humble host, Brendan White. You can find me just about everywhere at Brendan8bit. And joining me today on this podcast journey, my podcast ride or die, the Jill Valentine to my Leon Kennedy. You can find her on them socials at Miss Ellie Hart. Miss Ellie Hart, how bloody hell are ya?
Bloody hell are ya? I'm doing good, thank you, Brendan. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Bit of inside baseball. I'm not lubed up with honey this morning, so it's running rampant through my brain at the moment. Like, my voice needs to sustain the next 90 odd minutes. Please, voice, you can do this for me. We've gotten this far in life. Honey is not the everything, so let's go.
We'll see how the podcast goes. Who knows? Maybe our audience will be have a greater preference to a more raspy, kind of gritty Brendan.
Yeah. Honey or no honey? That is the question of 2021. So, what do they say? I don't want your money, honey. I want your love.
Oh, that's true. Oh, what song is that?
I can't remember. Some 90s jam, some 90s sort of like dance track, but
that's true. That's
probably
true.
Came out after Ace of Base and before S Club 7 would be my guess.
That's a good guess. If it makes you feel better, on the occasions when I have been sick and I get my very raspy voice, I constantly get complimented on it. And I get told, I like this voice. And I'm like, well, it's insulting to me. It's like, so you like me when I sound like I'm on the verge of death and suffering, but every other day when my voice is normal, it's
It's just passable. Yeah.
It's just there.
Well, fingers crossed I am not on the deathbed. I'm a bit tired, so maybe it's like a tired, raspy voice, but we'll persist. This coffee's starting to kick in, and I'm now hydrating because I'm preparing, because tonight could be a very punishing evening for my liver, because Jack Cruz is in town, the espresso martini aficionado.
Oh,
so
no.
Yeah, tonight Cruzy, Benny, myself, Dane, and Jack's beautiful partner Maria are potentially going to paint the Gold Coast main strip all kinds of colors and get all kinds of crazy. So you may never hear from me again after this evening, because the man loves to drink and he loves to party. So
he does. So I know I need to stay focused on Jack's social media and his stories tonight, because I'm obviously going to see some greatness.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm nervous, but overall, I can't wait to get out and get a little wild, because it's been ages. Like, with COVID and everything, these types of situations are very few and far between. So I'm feeling a bit lucky to get together with some of the crew and have a few drinks in a social setting in a public place. So who would have thought we could be doing that right now? But onwards and upwards. Tonight's going to be fun. But I guess what else is fun is something, I guess fun is maybe not the right word to use, but I see we've both tackled a little demo that was announced only 25 hours ago, maybe?
Yeah,
hot off the press. Pretty awesome, with the backstory. Obviously, they did a Resident Evil showcase yesterday, Capcom did, streamed all over the world, and one of the biggest takeaways of it was that they're like, oh yeah, by the way, there's a demo that is going to be out today, exclusively for PlayStation users. So
PlayStation 5, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just
it was PlayStation 5 only too.
I thought it was just PlayStation 5. I felt like they said that a lot, but it was.
It does make sense, because they were sort of trying to showcase some of the graphical processing powers of the PS5. So yeah, we both installed the maiden demo, as they call it. I think it's about 4 gigs, something like that. So let's sort of toss it over to you first. How did you find the demo? You enjoyed it? Did it build up the excitement to play Resident Evil Village when it comes out? What do you think?
Well, I don't play scary games at all, and I've only really just recently dipped my toe into Resident Evil, and like loading into it as well. Like the atmosphere is great. I give them that. For a good chunk of it, I didn't know what I was meant to be doing because I'm not familiar with the whole interactive element where you examine something or you grab something, then you proceed to examine it further to, So I hit that wall, unfortunately, but after a while, I kind of got an idea of everything. So I was stuck in that dungeon for a bit, probably longer than I should have been. But overall, like graphically, it looks stunning. I like this environment that they've set up. Although I haven't played the last Resident Evil game, being set in the swamps and like, kind of like back end country kind of, in comparison with this one, like this one has more of, to me, what I usually associate with like horror. So being in like a mansion or...
Yeah, it's got that real gothic horror vibe to it.
Exactly, yeah. So I already like the overall, feeling of the game. And yeah, just... I'm a bit sad because there was this idea that they were trying to sell to you in the demo that, you got to watch out. Don't let them see you, And you heard voices, oh my God, and my own footsteps. I don't know if anyone else had that issue, but I was constantly being tricked by my own footsteps.
Yeah, the old the 3D audio can get you a few times because like as you said, the demo opens up and it's just escape the dungeon. So you go, okay, clearly there's going to be stuff at every turn here. So you start off, you've got no weapons. There's no combat in the demo. There's no even showcasing of the new nifty blocking ability that Ethan has. So you're playing as Ethan, who returns from Resident Evil 7. From my understanding, the main premise of this game is you've gone over to Europe to rescue your daughter, is from what I could see with the synopses. And yeah, you're in somewhere in Europe. Maybe you're down the road from where Resident Evil 4 was set. Who knows? But we've got a cool gothic vibe. Old medieval dungeons and like Dracula-esque castles and stuff like that. Like it's real brooding and foreboding. And yeah, when you load it in, like the graphics, I noticed it straight away. Like, and especially when it's first person, so everything's like a little bit tighter and more in your face. Like, just the detail in the cells or like the various corpses down in them dungeons and the bodies hanging from the ceilings and the various like torture devices they had around there too.
They had a lot, but they weren't very original. There was mostly they just like that chair, the spiky chair. Yeah,
spiky chairs. Hanging people like bound, like having people binded, having them cut to bits. It's it's a typical horror movie-esque vibe down there as far as the torture chambers and these random punishment rooms. But yeah, it had a really cool vibe. We sort of talked about it offline, where I sort of was feeling like it could have almost gone like a little bit of an Outlast route when they're talking about escaping the dungeon and you didn't have any items or any sort of ways to fight. I thought maybe they'd sort of lean into you've got to like hide and sort of seek shelter from some baddies, because there's a part in the demo, like full spoilers, we're going to be probably deep diving on this demo. It's only like a 15-20 minute runtime anyway, this thing. But when you're getting near the end where you've got to get the lockpick to get the door to get out of the dungeon, and there's that sort of barricaded wall/door behind you, I expected like one of the big werewolves that they've shown in some of the trailers to maybe punch through. It certainly sounded very Wolfman-esque behind that barricade.
Yeah, I was wondering where that noise was coming from, because once you said like the 3D audio was really screwing with my head, because it sounded like it was already in the dungeon, like it sounded like it was already there, and then you heard doors closing and everything, and it really got to a stage where I was just sitting there, I'm like, is that me or is that someone else? I can't, I think my fear level went down because I just started assuming if there was a noise, it was me. Like I did that, if you got too close to a door, the door would like rattle, like, so it got to a stage where the fear factor went, because I'm just like, it's probably me. That's probably me. I'm probably making that noise. I do like what they did with this demo in the sense that I think it was more establishing this this kind of like vampire character that at the start we only just saw a brief few snippets, and now I think they're kind of like evolving more on who they are, how they connect to the story. It seems like this is where they live, as well as showing how they acquire blood and I guess what they eat as well. So reading a lot of things along the way as well told you about their like maids that they had, or people who kind of like service the mansion, and then if they went against what they were supposed to, they turn into
they get sent down to the chokey and become vampire fodder.
Exactly. So I think that's why this one was called Maiden, right? Was because you were playing as one?
Yeah, you weren't playing as Ethan in the demo. You're playing as one of these potential maidens, and no doubt, like this, from what they're telling me, this is sort of, well, from what I've read. Sorry, no one from Capcom reached out and told me anything. This is more so, just a showcase of the world and the graphical bumps and the game enhancements jumping into current gen. And I think it's a good showcase. Like, you see a lot of really cool lighting effects, like walking around this area, whether it be just dimly lit by candlelight or some of the big chandeliers when you get into like the big ballroom area and the main hall. Like, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous world. And the reflection off even just like the gold leafing and stuff on the walls and the armor sets, like it's a really, really pretty universe. But with that prettiness, you do have this sense of dread, because it is a world that is copy pasted from so many period piece horror movies. So you just know bad shit's going to come. And hearing Lady Dimitrescu is sort of, I think, maybe how I've landed on it. Dimitrescu was how I'd pronounce it. The big giant imposing gorgeous vampire queen of the household here. Like, hearing her and her daughters sort of always just talking just out of shot in the demo, or you see the shadow of them moving out of a room or going into a next area. It adds that tension, just like the family from Resident Evil 7, where they are sort of always just out of sight. So it had a little bit of that throwback to the last game as well, but it's pretty cool. Like, I played the demo through twice just to sort of see if there's any different outcomes. Right. Just to see, because it's only a 20-minute banger. Anyone on the PlayStation 5 can download it for free, and it does certainly whet the appetite for future Resident Evil games. And the fact that this game's coming out in like 4 months' time is awesome. I know we sort of were throwing some dates around at the dartboard the other day, and I was sort of saying Q1, and like it's middle of Q2, which I think is still a big win considering the climate still. So I'm excited for early May when this thing drops. And this demo, like, it's a good little taster, exactly what I need. And I can't believe they announced one that was available same day as the Resident Evil showcase. I was so excited when I woke up yesterday and watched it, and I'm like, yes! I had a big day of work, so I couldn't play it until like last night, but it was well worth the wait.
Oh, I chickened out and I played this morning when daylight was present.
Yeah, the dog scared the fucking shit out of me a few times when I was playing this. I had them both sort of asleep either side of me on the couch, and was dimly lit, and I had headphones on playing it, so I couldn't hear anything outside of the game. And then Bentley heard something down the hallway and barked, scared the shit out of me. And then another time, Winnie was chewing on an antler and he dropped it off the couch, and because I've got tiled floor everywhere, just this big bang crash, and it scared the shit out of me too. So I was getting jump scares in and out of game, but it was really cool. Like, it showed some of the sort of things you get used to regarding the puzzle elements and sort of those usual gameplay mechanics, as you said, like picking up items and having to look at every side and every sort of crevice of an item, because there's usually an item in an item. So
I also took
loot
too long to find. I'm not used to it. The old maroon eye
ring.
I'm not used to it, so
yeah. But it looks like this is going to be intense from the demo. But we'll talk more about the Resident Evil showcase in sort of in the news segment of THG 225. But I see as well some congratulations are in order regarding another game you played, which also led to your first ever platinum trophy. So congratulations on that. That is no small feat. Like, well bloody done.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. I'm not a trophy hunter. I'm not an achievement hunter. And my console time, like playing games, is barely existent. Like, I am predominantly a PC player. But after playing the Resident Evil demo, I was like, oh, like I remember I had to finish like a stage, like I had something missing in Astro's Playroom. So I'm like, I'll load it up and, you know, hopefully then I'll complete the game. And I was really like confused. I'm like, well, I've completed everything. Like, shouldn't I get like 100%? So I just quickly looked to see if there was something I was missing. And then it was like, oh, here's all the trophies and stuff. And I'm like, oh, I could get that done. And then like it was so easy. And so I 100%ed the game and I got my first platinum trophy ever. And I'm like, I kind of get it. I understand why people do this now. It is a slightly good feeling knowing that, you know, you've been able to achieve something that not everyone achieves. And it's good that I also genuinely enjoyed the game as well. Like, it didn't feel like a chore. Like, I was really happy to be almost given these like special little tasks to do in addition to finishing the game. So, but yeah, my first ever platinum trophy. Probably my first ever 100% as well. Probably.
Have you got the hunger? Are you going to become a trophy hunter now?
Oh, I don't know. Because like looking at all the games that would have platinum trophies, like I was like just looking down my list, there's like Red Dead Redemption. I could only imagine what you would need to platinum that. Yeah, so I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be chasing platinums in all the games that I have. So I'll have to like maybe save it for a little bit more easier games. I don't know. Yeah. But it's a good feeling. So now I understand all those people out there who are trophy hunters.
Well, there you go. It's certainly a game well worth. I haven't got the platinum on Astro's Playroom yet, but yeah, it's something I guess I could chase up. It doesn't sound like it's going to be too painful like some of these trophy hunts that people go on, as far as getting platinums in those big open world games can just be a very taxing situation. So I'd very much like to just do it, just cruising along. You know, I don't want it to feel grindy where I've got to hunt down or kill certain things or do certain things a million times. But if it can happen sort of semi-organically, I think that's certainly a trophy that I'd be chasing.
Yeah, for the most part, like I would say for about 80% of the trophies in that game, you're going to achieve it anyway because you would want to collect the collectibles of those stages. It's the other things where it's a bit kind of like, a little bit fun, kind of like, oh, you did this or you picked up this item or you did this kind of thing. So it was fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've been playing a game I certainly did not expect to be saying I've been playing on the Hungry Gamers, that's for sure.
I wasn't expecting to see it.
Yeah, no shot towards the game or the developers or the franchise, but I was playing some League of Legends this week.
Wild.
With NATO and Kaz on the PC. So I'm on with the fellow master racers, doing some MOBAing. Is that what they call it? Is that how you describe it? It's a MOBA, which MOBAing. Yeah, we'll use that. We'll do with that. So I was getting my MOBA on, playing some League of Legends. It's been that long since I played this game. I couldn't get access to my original account because it was tied to an old emissary email from generations past, which no longer exists. So I had to make a new account last night, and then we were just playing, you know, doing some sort of standard 5v5 type of fare in this game, and I really enjoyed my time playing League of Legends. And that's probably the most surprising thing about it, because I was never too good at these games. Used to play back in the day. Dream and I dabbled here and there. He was pretty good at League of Legends. He, funnily enough, randomly popped into the Discord call and was going to play with us, but then couldn't get it installed. So then he disappeared into the ether again, as he does. So we might hear from him again in June. But yeah, really, really enjoyed my time with it. There's far too many characters, I've noticed, in League of Legends these days. Like, I don't have the exact number in front of me. It felt like there was 700 of them. Just scrolling through the sort of options and everything else. But it's kind of cool. All the characters, they're either ripped off directly from existing other franchises or, nodding to them pretty heavily that they're third cousins, like it's there's creativity in it, but yeah, there's certainly some homage there to other games out there, but yeah, it's good fun. I enjoyed it. Like, I'm not going to become some ranked League of Legends demigod by any stretch of the imagination, but it was just kind of fun to jump on, have a riff on Discord while we're trying to own the top or the bottom or the mid lane, and get our way to their nexus and destroy it to become the League of Legends champions or whatever they call it. But yeah, it was fun. Did you play LoL? You ever played much LoL or any MOBAs?
No, so I've never played LoL. It was like, it's on my to-do list. I feel like it's definitely one that I should just at least attempt. But if there's one consistent thing that everyone has told me, is that the community can be really toxic. So I'm never going to venture in alone. So I will have to be guided in. I mean, I played Smite. I actually really enjoyed Smite.
And we played a lot of Paragon.
Paragon. That was it, Paragon. So I like it. Like, I kind of have a vague idea on how most things run, but LOL is the, I guess, be all and end all. So I do feel like I should probably attempt it in the future. Which obviously, actually, NATO and like other people have been more than accommodating in wanting to kind of like walk me through it. So I guess I just got to take the plunge.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's. I was pleasantly surprised at how much fun I had playing last night with NATO and Kaz, and we're playing mostly against bots as opposed to toxic neckbeardy overlords that certainly frequent the that community. Like, we had a couple of randos join the team of 5 as well, and you get a little bit of back and forth in game sort of chat there, and there wasn't any hostility, which is nice. But yeah, you do get it. I remember playing back in the day, and just some of the shit that people start throwing around there, and how angry and just wound up they get over nothing. Like, it can really impact the experience. But last night there was none of that, so I had a good experience, and it was just good fun. I'm maining as Lux at the moment, which is like a spellcaster that's sort of more so she can play a little bit of support as well, but she's sort of like support attack hybrid. She's pretty fun. So I'm just sort of learning the ropes with her. But yeah, it's free to play, which is an awesome thing. There's no pay barrier to entry for this. You can download it for free. You get a handful of champions to start with. Obviously, you can buy or grind other champions in the game, and they also then do a rotation where they give random free champions. I don't know what frequency it is, if it's like weekly. I can't remember that part of the game anymore, but it's fun. I'm gonna play some more.
Oh, you guys will have to let me know next time you have it lined up, and I'll see if I can jump on and join. And can I play as one of those girls from that girl band that they created with the LOL characters, right? Maybe.
There's that. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a few of them in there to play. As I said, like, there genuinely feels like there's hundreds of characters to choose from now. So she could be tucked in there. But there is a lot of female characters. A lot of female characters heavily referencing other female characters, as I said, from other gaming worlds, and a lot of just gorgeous characters. Whether they're male, female, they're non-binary, they're like a demon, they're a animal. Everyone's attractive in this game, I've realised. There's not really anybody that's, not worth taking out for a drink, it feels like. So
fair enough.
Yeah, so right. I'm onto you with your MO. Attractive characters, no matter what race, sex, age group, world classification, you're all attractive. So, yeah. But yeah, we'll play some LOL together. And just wanted to quickly also reference just some stuff I've been watching. So I won't deep dive on the first one, but The Stand is out now here in Australia. And I don't know if it's been out in the US for a little bit longer, but
maybe.
I think it's on CBS/Amazon over there, and it's on Amazon Prime here in Australia.
Oh, I think it's been out for a bit.
Okay. So yeah, there's 6 episodes out now, and I think that might be where it's caught up to in the States as well. I think they sort of dropped them weekly, but they just did a big 5-episode dump here at once for Amazon. So I think it's all fully caught up, maybe. But it's another Stephen King adaptation, and it's actually a good Stephen King adaptation. Like, I don't know if they're going to try and run a second season, but it's a 9-episode arc, this sort of current one they've got going out. And it's, like, in a nutshell, it's the battle of good and evil, you could say. Like, it's kind of very, I guess, sensitive based topics that they cover that are relevant right now. Like a global pandemic wipes out like 90% of the population. Like a virus spreads, which they call, Captain Trips, and it kills, just about everybody bar these people that seem to have some kind of like immune antibodies. And then there's like an offshoot of the devil on Earth, and then there's Whoopi Goldberg, who almost is like an extension of sort of God and heaven on Earth. So it's like becomes like this heaven versus hell battle of who's going to ultimately survive. But the characters and the assortment of actors in this show is really good. Like, it's got a really, really strong cast. The writing's great, big budget, cool special effects. And it's very true to the book. The book was great. They did like a telly movie of this thing way back in the day with like Gary Sinise as the lead. Yeah. Which, Lieutenant Dan, wasn't the best. It was okay, but that's not saying much for Stephen King stuff. But this is really, really good. I'm really enjoying it, and can't wait to see what they do for these final 3 episodes. And something else I've been late to the party on, sadly, was the TV spin-off of What We Do in the Shadows. Finally. So I just wanted to shout out that show because it is absolutely phenomenal. I binged both seasons in the span of 24 or so hours, and I was just in stitches throughout those 20 episodes constantly. Like, it is so well done. It is so well written, so well acted, and like just the way that they make the mockumentary thing make sense throughout the whole thing. Like, they're constantly referencing the camera crew and seeing the camera crew get like impacted in certain things. So it all sort of weaves in and doesn't sort of get like, it's silly, but it all works. So you don't sort of question the plot holes. Like, it's so smart in that way. And what we were talking about offline, like Matt Berry as Laszlo, he is the superstar of this show. He's the scene stealer, and just about anything that comes out of his mouth has me chuckling every single time. And I love this show so much.
Yeah, it's incredible having a show. Well, first of all, having the movie in the first shoot, like just like having such a unique concept and having it succeed. I guess, did it succeed, or did it more have like I guess it may have had more of a cult success.
Bit of a cult following, yeah.
Yeah. But then also for it then to move on to a TV series based in another country, different characters, like having like so many like variables like that, and it's still working out, like it's still being just as good as the movie, like still well written. The comedy stylings are very similar. It's just incredible. And yeah, I'm glad that you watched both seasons too, because season 2 just like got even better and better. So
it's so great. And I'm just constantly amazed at the celebrity cameos, whether they're actually playing as themselves or playing as vampires and whatever else in this world. Like, seeing people like Mark Hamill, Wesley Snipes being part of the the vampire committee.
The vampire committee in general is just a fantastic nod to vampire media in general, and Wesley Snipes being kind of called in because he's daywalker. He didn't have to be in the dark, so he's just on a laptop trying to access this meeting, but he's getting delay and stuff and he can't hear. It's great.
It is perfection. And just this show is just like, anyone that hasn't watched it that loves a good comedy, like, this is something you need to check out really, really quickly, because it's so great. 20-30 minute episodes, 20 episodes available at the moment. Like, it's been renewed for a 3rd season, which is cool, so we'll probably get that in the next couple of months, depending, I guess, on how recording went amidst COVID. But yeah, I love that it's just so aware of itself as well, and just oh my goodness, it cracks me up. Every scene, every interaction is just phenomenal. The main cast is great, the recurring cast is awesome, and then just these random cameos. Like we were talking before about the episode where he sort of where Matt Berry, Laszlo, sort of has to escape because he's getting hunted by Mark Hamill, and goes and sort of finds a new life in this sleepy town in middle America as Jackie Daytona just fucking kills me. And it's just phenomenal. I can't wait for the third season. Like it's great.
Yeah. And just like also the introduction of a different kind of, I guess, supernatural being, which they introduced, which was called an energy vampire. I was kind of pessimistic about the introduction of this character. I was kind of like, come on. But as they like went on and continued on with like following this character, I'm just like, oh yeah, this totally makes sense. I'm pretty certain I've worked with these, energy vampires myself. So yeah, they've done well, and I'm so glad that it's getting the recognition it deserves and that they keep on getting renewed now. So
yeah, it's perfect. And yeah, old Colin Robertson, the energy vampire, just he is so committed to, or just plays that role to perfection. And yeah, it's great. Just phenomenal television. And even seeing old Taika make his way back in, he's part of the Vampire Council, who obviously he was one of the creators of the movie, him and Jermaine Clement, back from Flight of the Conchords days. Mm-hmm. They originally wrote and directed and produced the movie from 2014. But yeah, seeing them both make some cameos in the TV show, as well as they're still involved in the writing and stuff in the back end, is great. It's just really, really clever, funny comedy, and just the dialogue, it's nice and witty, nice and rapid fire. It's so good. I love it.
And for anyone that may have already seen the series, definitely check online. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff too that it's just great. So check it out. I think it's on like YouTube, I'm pretty certain.
Hell yeah. Also, American Gods Season 3 is back. Or it started, sorry. American Gods is back with Season 3. So the first 2 episodes are out now. Give that a look if anyone watched the first 2 seasons. First season is still by far the best, but it's still going well. They're getting a lot of mileage out of a reasonably small book, which I'm very surprised about. Like, this is the 3rd season now for a book that's 200 and something odd pages. So, yeah. Still awesome, though. The old gods versus the new and all that stuff. I'm all about that life. But quick bit of housekeeping, I guess, before we start moving into the news. Obviously, what we mentioned last week is, we've done a bit of changing here at 8-Bit. We're sort of scaling things back, getting a little bit more focused on, I guess, how we came to be. We've got a more sort of narrow focus on content. We've got a smaller, more close-knit group going on. You can see and read all about that over at 8bit.net if you wanted to get into the weeds there. But I've also, officially closed down our Patreon, so that Patreon link no longer exists. So if you wanted to support us monetarily, that's awesome. You don't have to if you don't want to. Just listening, subscribing, sharing, that is more than enough. But if you wanted to throw a couple of dollars into our bucket, head on over to Ko-fi, which is ko-fi.com/we-are8bit, and you can subscribe to us for $6 Australian a month. So you can buy us a Happy Meal, and that's going to get you early access to a handful of 8-Bit mainstream shows, as well as exclusive access to our new podcast, Is This Thing On? It is never going to be released anywhere outside of that Ko-fi website, so you're not going to find it on a normal podcast syndicated RSS. It's the only place to get it. Also going to get exclusive access to giveaways and other contents, as well as a little goodie bag with some pins and stickers and what have you. And also, if you wanted to get involved in some of our commission options, the Star Wars Family Portrait for 2021 is officially live. So get in, you can get yourself a custom avatar made in your likeness, combining you and a Star Wars character for $50 AUD. And for $25 AUD, you can get yourself an 8-Bit Founders coin. So they're both very limited. It's only going to be available this year. Once the coins are sold out, they're never going to be remade. And once this Star Wars Family Portrait is done, that's never going to occur again. We're going to jump to another theme for 2022 and so on and so forth. So, if you want to support us that way, awesome. If not, as I said, be sure to rate, review, subscribe us on all the podcast players that you consume our content on, because those ratings and reviews help keep the emotional lights on in our hearts. But speaking of hearts, Miss Heart, shall we talk about our friends over at Manscaped? What do you reckon?
Let's do it.
Just waiting for this audio to kick in. Very faintly. It's in the background. There it is. There it is. All right, have you ever found yourself wandering through backcountry Europe, worried you're going to get wrongfully accused of potentially being a werewolf? Well, worry no more, as the purveyors of perfect pubic hair have you covered. The Perfect Package 3.0 kit by Manscaped is equipped with everything you need to become a sleek, hairless humanoid and not be confused with one of the wolves of the night. It all starts with the Lawnmower 3.0, complete with a patented ceramic blade and advanced skin-safe technology, which will help you slice and dice your way out of any evil European castle in next to no time.
It also comes with an assortment of other liquid formulations to round out your grooming routine. Some of these liquid tools for your family jewels includes the Crop Preserver, or as we like to call it, the Green Herb Combiner. It is an anti-chafing deodorant that will have your below-the-belt HP maxed out in no time. This is a total game changer that would make your Barry Burton proud. Why are you not already putting deodorant on the smelliest part of your body? Next up is the Crop Reviver, a spray-on ball toner that will not look out of place amongst the Duke's high-quality wares. The Perfect Package also comes with a nifty travel bag to carry your trusty lockpicks, disposable shaving mats to hide the excess vampire bodies, and a set of the comfiest anti-chafing boxes you have ever worn. This is the Perfect Package for your perfect package.
And listeners, you can get 20% off and free shipping with the code 8BIT at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using the code ATEBIT. And remember, people, nobody wants an infectious, hairy, werewolf-looking sexual appendage.
Oh. You never know.
All right, that was probably not my best Manscaped write-up. So, sorry, listeners. Yeah, it gets tough, all right? It gets tough trying to wordplay in certain game themes and items into these, but we're trying at least. If anything, we're being creative.
I have fun. I enjoy reading these off and just seeing the wonderful word combos that you come up with. It's fantastic. I'm sure the listeners love it.
The Crop Preserver, which I don't know why we'd ever call it the Green Herb Combiner, but I think I was trying to talk about crops and then green herbs to do with farming and horticulture.
Yes.
Yeah. Now I was trying to get a bit too clever there. Maybe I should have wrote Red and Green Herb Combiner, but anyway, it is what it is. I wrote that at about 1 a.m. this morning. So you're welcome, listeners, and let's move into this.
This week's news headlines.
And the first one is very much a throwaway, but I just wanted to highlight it because some of our favorite characters from the broader media universe, we're talking about Predator Sarah Connor and the T-800, Fortnite bound and can be yours for 1,500 V-Bucks a piece. I don't want to deep dive on Fortnite, but they're just throwing so much shit at a wall right now, like to try and be relevant and get as much money back into this game. Like I know from a concurrent viewer situation on sort of Twitch and Co, this game sits around 4 or 5 depending on the day now, where it used to be, the undisputed sort of number 1 and number 2. So I get that, they're still very successful. They're still printing money, but it's just getting out of control, these skins. Like it used to be like a seasonal thing where there was prestige because they had this awesome crossover with a character from another universe, but they're just bringing these out every other day now, and it sort of just seems to become very much one and the same.
Yeah, like I know what you mean. There was some kind of level of like exclusive character that you could, or exclusive skin that you could have, and then by having that in game, it was kind of like like I've earned this kind of thing. But now it's just, buy this. Like I think in the past, it has to be within the past at least 2 months where they've released both the Mandalorian skin, they released a bunch of seasonal skins, then recently they dropped a bunch of streamer skins. There was a DC skin collection where they had the Joker and Poison Ivy.
Yep.
Like, So they're just constantly just dropping them now. And then this one where it's Predator, Sarah Connor, and the TA100. Like, why? Like,
yeah. Like, how do you weave this into the story? Like, I know that not many people play Fortnite for the story and the lore, but it's just getting out of control at the moment. Like, I think there's been in the last 3 months maybe 20 new skins, you'd say. Like, they did obviously Kratos, they did Master Chief.
That's right. That was the other one.
And then, yeah, they did the time sort of DC and Marvel stuff. Now they're going down this route. Like, it's never going to end.
Well, they're pushing it because people are buying it, clearly. Like, they're definitely seeing the sales rack through. But I like, they know what they're doing. Obviously, they have for so long now. But just in order, like, to just push them through as quickly as they have, like, I feel like you'd want some time in between to kind of, I don't know, make sure kids save up their pocket money. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I'd say they're probably missing sales, due to the frequency of these things coming out. Because, a lot of the time, the younger generation is primarily playing Fortnite, so their pockets aren't lined with cash or V-Bucks. So, being able to throw this kind of money around on all these skins every couple of days is not feasible. Couple of days, we got it back again. Con the Fruiterer. But anyway, it's kind of cool to see some of these franchises that we adore making their way into this universe. But I don't know why and or how, but it's kind of cool to see a Predator skin and a Sarah Connor skin in the Terminator 2 heyday there. But, okay. Whatever, Fortnite. Who's next? Who's next? Who do you think's going to be next?
Who is next? So they've done Marvel, they've done DC. I'm trying to think maybe if something's kind of coming down the line that they would, unless they kind of go back and just, like, because of obviously the recent success or the recent release anyway of WandaVision, maybe they'll, Scarlet Witch and maybe. They did it for me.
I could see him doubling down on this sort of 80s, 90s era as well, and maybe bringing in like a RoboCop.
We'll do what Mortal Kombat did and just bring in all their 80s.
Yep. Maybe we see a Xenomorph. We see an alien skin.
That would be difficult, wouldn't it? Yeah,
the phallic head shape part's going to be the most difficult part, I think. But maybe it's like the Power Loader. Maybe that's the skin. The Ripley in a Power Loader could be kind of cool.
Well, I'm sure we'll find out in probably a week what the new skin is.
Probably in the next hour. Who knows? Like, it's out of control. But they're in Fortnite now. But a little bit of local news I wanted to throw into the docket. Big Ant, who are one of the oldest and largest independent developers in Australia, has been acquired by French publisher Nacon for 35 million euros. So that's that's not a small chunk of change, That's 50-odd million Australian dollars. Big Ant are best known for sports games such as AO Tennis, Rugby League Live, and various cricket series, as well as titles based on the Australian Football League, or the AFL, for those that want it shorthand. The studio has also worked on other franchises such as Hellboy, Fruit Ninja, and The Legend of Spyro. So it's nice to see one of the only large independent studios left here in Australia not folding, but being purchased and hopefully going to greater heights, because Nacon are already talking about chucking more R&D and more money into these franchises, because like Rugby League Live and tennis games and stuff, they're okay, but on the budgets they were made here locally, the graphical fidelity wasn't always there, or the gameplay wasn't always as tight as it could be. So hopefully with this big cash injection, we're going to get these games maybe trying to compete with your EA sports titles and whatnot. So, it's maybe not to that direct level, but if you can get up there and try and stand toe to toe, it's awesome. But yeah, good on the guys at Big Ant. They've been around, I think, since 2004, if I remember right. Wow. 50 million Australian is that's some good cash.
I'd be very curious because of this being the French publisher, and Big Ant having experience in providing a rugby league game. I'm wondering if they will, be more aiming them to do another rugby game, since I guess that's more common over there, then, well, yeah, no, I don't think the French play cricket.
Nah, not very well. But, cricket is a global game. Like, I could see with the cricket, them making a game that tries to encompass all three levels of cricket. So you could have, like, the ability to play test matches. You could play your one-dayers and then your 2020s. But maybe they'll then try to, like, have the licensing through, like, the Indian Premier League, or in Australia it's called the Big Bash League, because, a lot of those countries, India, West Indies, Sri Lanka, all those areas, like, cricket is their sport. It's the number one sport. So a lot of people would want to play a game where they could jump into the IPL and be the Rajasthan Royals or whatever it is and play as their favourite stars. So I think that's where they're going to be trying to shift to get a big global cricket game back on board. Like, I still remember playing Shane Warne Cricket 98 way back when on the PlayStation. I love that game. I used to play that game so much with friends and family. Like, cricket's great, and playing a cricket game, it's kind of strange that you get excited about it, but it was good fun.
Remember Test Match, the board game?
Oh, they've remade that.
Bullshit, really?
They've remade it as a Big Bash League game, and it's the same shit. Like, you've got your little plastic characters, and you sort of got a guy with a bowling arm, and you sort of just hit the little paddle and it rolls the ball down. Yeah. But now it's like, it's so funny because on the adverts, they're like, oh, and it's even got an interactive scoreboard. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's kind of cool. I don't know how that would work. And then I looked at the box of this thing late last year when I was in, like, Target, and it's like the interactive scoreboard is actually your smartphone, and it's just like you download the Big Bash League app, and when there's runs and stuff made, you have to manually put it in. So you're doing all the work, but
you're already moving all the players.
Wow, how did they determine that was a 4 or a 6, or how's that caught? But no, it's you're doing all the legwork. But yeah, the same mechanics and gameplay loop of that board game from when we were kids, 30 odd years ago when Test Match cricket came out. It's back. It's just got a sexier coat of paint now.
And your phone.
And your phone. Yeah, and you've got to use your own data, and you've got to put it all in manually. But anyway, you can't deny. I think it's only like $25 or something like that, the game. So
yeah, I think it was always around that price point.
Yeah, but I remember playing that Test Match game with my cousin Renan back in the day, and he'd always beat me. Fucking son of a bitch. But anyway, the last bit of news we wanted to bring to the Hungry Table today is what I have used some more bad wordplay. Recap comming the Resident Evil Showcase. What was I thinking this morning at 1 a.m.? My God, sorry, listeners. I was.
That's what you get for playing LOL.
Yeah, I've just been stupefied by League of Legends last night.
Oh, Disturbed.
Yes, I love that you got that reference. That's still their best album in my opinion, but. Yeah, so I'm taking some words here from Tom Phillips over at Eurogamer and just sort of cut and pasted a few bits and pieces. But yesterday's Resident Evil Showcase was heavy on news about the upcoming Resident Evil Village game, which was announced for release on 7th of May 2021. So,
Nice.
We alluded to that at the start of this podcast. Cannot wait to get in on that. As well as PC, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series S/X. Village will also be released on the same date for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Capcom confirmed. So, we're getting some previous gen love for Resident Evil Village as well, which is surprising, but there is a lot of consoles out in the wilderness, so...
It is a hot topic. I don't know if you've seen it online. There's like a lot of people out there that are disappointed to see that this game is still going to be accessible on the previous gen. And I understand that they're coming from this angle where they're assuming that if the game is accessible to the previous generation, that it's going to hinder the experience and the elevation of new gen. But
it's still weird. I still feel weird calling it like current gen.
I don't know. But like either ways, I understand where they're coming from, where they think that the experience is going to be hindered on this wonderful brand new console that they're getting and that it's going to be dulled down. So people of, PS4 and Xbox, they can get the experience as well. But it seems really shitty to kind of cut them out. Like, why would you cut them out, like, when the console only was released so recently? Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, 3 months ago.
Yeah.
I think maybe there's a bit of fear out there that we're going to end up then getting another similar Cyberpunk 2077 experience. Maybe that's what they're fearful for, that we're going to get a game that is sort of undercooked because they were building to a certain spec and had to scale back for other platforms, and it might get a bit janky.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's not as if these consoles have ceased manufacture. Like, they're still making some of these SKUs. Like, some of these last gen consoles now are still current and getting made and can be bought brand new off the shelf. So it makes sense to have these games available across all the platforms. Like, they want to maximize units sold out. So, you know, you don't want to ignore 120 million PlayStation 4s out there, you know?
Yeah, we played the demo, so we've experienced like what they're hopefully anticipating to bring us in the overall experience on the PlayStation 5. So if that's how it's going to look, like, I don't see them really setting it back. You can't have a demo like that and then produce, CD Projekt Red is really good at now proving, yeah, we can do something. But you would assume that Resident Evil would bring out a demo, say this is the experience for people with PlayStation 5. This is how it's going to look. This is, this is essentially what we're going to be offering of launch, and I'm happy with it. So I don't really see it being a negative and them kind of like bringing it back.
Just people being angry, it's like, there's a bit of discourse on the social medias. Let's get in on this too. Rabble, 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 rabble.
Make my PS5 worth my while.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's exciting. Resident Evil Village coming out on the 7th of May. Obviously, they also did drop the big announcement that the maiden demo would be available as of yesterday. We already talked about that in detail at the start of the podcast. But yes, this demo was a PlayStation 5 exclusive and will never release elsewhere. They did confirm that a different demo will be available later this year for all platforms. So we will get that on PC and the Xbox suite of consoles, as well as obviously the Sony suite, sometime between now and May the 7th, obviously. I'm assuming we might get something in April, I guess, where we get a bit more of a slice and maybe try out some of the combat and whatnot. But jumping back into the article, Village itself looks impressive, and for anyone who loved Resident Evil 4 back in the day, full of throwbacks to that beloved entry. The action starts in a European village, but then moves to the castle area we saw in the gameplay yesterday. Each area sounds like it will have a memorable boss character, with the castle ruled over by the tall vampire-esque lady who got fans excited last weekend. We'll talk more on that later. This tall lady is seen speaking on the phone to someone named Mother Miranda, who sounds like her boss, and mentions her brother, who sounds like he was the boss of the game's first area. Yeah, that makes sense. The tall lady also introduces returning Resident Evil 7 protagonist Ethan Winters to her 3 creepy daughters, who are not quite as tall, but can turn into swarms of flying insects. And in brackets, wasps, ? Moths, ? I don't think it's moths, because these flying insects are doing some damage to old Ethan, and I even have one like crawl. Yeah, locusts or wasps or something bad, and like you see that part where like pierces his hand and sort of gets under the skin. You can sort of see it crawling under like the palm of his hand. I thought that was really cool. Anyway, Resident Evil fans will note that Village includes the former's brilliant Tetris-esque inventory management system. Village also has a merchant known as the Duke, who will pop up across the map. Village has many different editions available to purchase. Alongside the standard edition, there's a digital deluxe edition available on all platforms, which includes max difficulty, save room music, a Mr. Everywhere weapon charm, a save device tape recorder, and an Albert 01 gun, a found footage RE7 filter, and something called The Tragedy of Ethan Winters. There's also a collector's edition which includes the above items plus a box of physical bits such as poster, art book, steel bookcase, and Chris Redfield figurine. And then you can obviously already pre-order some of these around the country and around the globe. We don't have the collector's edition available for pre-order just yet here in Australia, but just keep your eyes and ears peeled to your EB Games, or even just check out Presta. They are constantly breaking dates as far as when these things are coming out. So just be ready, because they'll sell out really quick. And something else that came off the back of this Resident Evil showcase, they also revealed RE-verse Resident Evil, a new multiplayer spin-off, and as well as showing an old trailer for upcoming CGI Netflix series Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, which stars Leon S. Kennedy and Chris Redfield in a fresh story set a couple of years after Resident Evil 4. REverse looks to be a competitive multiplayer shooter where you can play as various characters from throughout the Resident Evil series. Its visuals have a comic book style effect, and it is being beta tested right now. From the footage shown, it still needs a bit of work. There's no word on a release date, but if you buy Resident Evil Village, then you'll get it for free. And then lastly, Resident Evil is also getting a crossover with The Division 2. Look for Resident Evil items in Ubisoft's online shooter starting on the 2nd of February, including Leon Kennedy's Raccoon City police outfit. So, yeah, it was a good little showcase. Ran for 30-ish minutes. Kind of cool. They doubled down on Resident Evil Village was certainly the highlight piece. Like, I know I was chanting and shouting as I always do that I want them to announce a Dino Crisis remake. I thought we might have seen a Resident Evil 4 remake or remaster get announced during this showcase as well, but no, it was just wholly and solely around RE Village, and then obviously a little bit of attention to Netflix CGI spin-off as well as REverse, that multiplayer game. But what did you think about this whole showcase?
I thought it was surprisingly short, to be honest. Like, I know us reading through everything that was announced, it felt like, oh, this must have been quite the showcase. It was really short. Like, it was almost like this could have been a Twitter post short. Like, like the stuff that they showed us for Village was great. Getting into a little bit more of the nitty gritty of what was going on behind the scenes, learning about the Merchant of the Duke and then who the tall vampire lady was and her daughters. I think it's probably good just getting bibs and bobs as opposed to them just pretty much laying everything out there. Having a bit of mystery around this is probably for the best. And then them announcing Versus the shooter.
REverse. The naming is REverse. Meh.
Yeah.
The gameplay of it did look like you could see it's in beta. Like it didn't look great at all. Like it's kind of cool that they're bringing in characters from every single Resident Evil game to be playable. I thought that was kind of fun, but I don't know what the hell this game's trying to be. And you know, the aiming in Resident Evil hasn't really been that tight for most of the game's existence. Like, I think probably when they shifted in Resident Evil 4 to more of over the shoulder and more actiony, that was probably the tightest combat. And it feels like this is sort of sitting somewhere between that and the previous game, so trying to kill people with any form of accuracy is going to be interesting. But at least they're trying stuff different, I guess.
But if you told me to, like, you know, what would have I preferred, an REverse announcement and a beta, or telling me that, you know, kind of offhandedly, like Resident Evil 4 Remastered, just like, it's happening? If they just said that, like, it's happening, I probably would have preferred that announcement. Just that.
Yeah, I would have taken that. Just chuck a single image up. You know, Resident Evil 4 Remastered, coming soon, in development, whatever. Just a little splash screen. Like, that would have done more for the hype levels than this REverse, that's for sure. Like, it's inevitable, I think, that 4 is going to happen. Maybe they didn't want to double down with a Resident Evil 4 remake announcement because they are aesthetically similar universes. So maybe they don't want too much of this European Gothic vibe going. So maybe they'll kick it to maybe next year and show it then, because then Resident Evil Village has had time to breathe and get its sales out. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I can honestly see that actually being the smarter angle of why maybe they're not even announcing it or, you know, alluding to it right now. So
too much Europe.
Too much of the dark castles and dark forests, and although Resident Evil 4 I think was the first one that I've ever played, so
it's still one of the best. It's one of the best all times.
It's kind of special. So but yeah, I mean, overall for the showcase, I mean, Britt, Blonde Nerd, getting the chance to host a showcase for something that she was very passionate about and she loves, you love to see it. But overall, like, it was a little snippet of a showcase. We got a good chunk of seeing, like, what we are expecting. We got to get a free demo, which we all obviously, you know, well, those of us that could access it jumped on straight away. And then we got REverse, where we kind of tilted our head a little bit. So, but yeah, overall, I think Village still is going strong. I don't really have much doubts about it still.
I can't wait for it. Like, I think it's going to be one of the games of the year. Like, obviously, a lot of release dates are up in the air, so we don't know how many games or what games are going to come out this year. But I think if everything that's on the docket for 2021 does arrive this year, I still think this is going to be one of the top performers. Like, Resident Evil 7 was phenomenal, and it looks more of the same, but just expanded out in a bigger world, and it's going to be scary as fuck.
You know what? This is such a sidetrack. Can we commend gaming as a medium of entertainment in general during this time where we're constantly being advised that movies are being pushed back and release dates. Like, we've got movies that have been pushed back now almost 3 years of release. A lot of movies recently have been announced that they're going to be pushed back to 2022. And meanwhile, video games, they're pretty much holding their own to entertain us. So kudos to them.
Indeed. Not so much kudos to Morbius, who that film got delayed twice in the span of a week. So it got delayed like at the start of last week, and then it got delayed a handful of days later. So Jared Leto as Morbius, we're getting it sometime next year. But we saw I guess in a weird crossover, Uncharted the movie has now been delayed until 2022. So got to wait a little bit longer to see our boy Tommy as young Nathan Drake. Sorry,
back to the news story. The last thing I did miss, confusingly.
The Ubisoft weird thing?
No. the story of Resident Evil having the Division 2 skins or costumes or whatever.
Yeah.
Has anyone explained why that crossover happened, or was it just why not?
Just in there. Yeah,
I'm not against
I don't get it.
I'm not against it. If groups are working together to kind of cross over their franchises and just little nods, to me this is Capcom kind of giving like the Division, like Ubisoft, a little bit of a leg up to bring people back in by saying, yeah, you can use this. But it's just weird. Just
thinking out loud and trying to will it into the gaming universe. The Division 2 crossover with Predator, so it plays like Predator 2, where Predator was in New York City.
Yeah.
And the Division agents, they already did this with what's that other Ubisoft game, Tom Clancy's game I'm completely blanking on now.
Oh shit.
Where you had a group of 4 people out in the jungle, and then they embedded the Time Predator events.
Oh.
What is that game called? I'm blanking.
And there's some people on the other end just yelling at us.
But bring that in. Bring Predator in here, and let's go some City Hunter vibes. Shout out to Bill Paxton and Danny Glover and those types of dudes. Bring them into this game too, and have Predator hunts in the city.
Yeah,
I'd be all about that. We've got to go to Washington. Sorry, so in around Washington, bring Predator in there somehow. These crossovers don't make sense, but they make it work somehow. But sort of jumping back onto Resident Evil again, wanted to sort of bring up this part of the podcast.
Tweet of the week.
And this is more of a blanket tweet of the week shout out to all the thirsty individuals out there that have just fallen in love with the tall woman. This was before we got her name from the gameplay itself and everything like that. So there is many tweets here showing some love to Lady Dimitrescu, who is obviously the head of this vampire family in Europe. And the first tweet from Lulu Boo, LULUBW, Jesus Christ. Her tweet: the tall woman from Resident Evil 8 calls the other vampires her daughters, making her an official MILF. And then another one here from Sakushi M on the Twitters: I have no idea why Ethan pulled up again for this, but if he's trapped with this mummy, that's quite the treat. Hope you're all enjoying the demo though. And then the last one here from It's Pengu XN, Capcom, will you escape this village? And then in brackets, keeps giving us hot villains. No, I don't think I will. And there is hundreds upon hundreds of tweets
My
thirst trapping for Lady Dimitrescu.
Shout out to Capcom for making gamers just become one and having a communal, like, essentially just airing out their kink of a tall vampire lady. So, the one time gamers came together and agreed on something.
Yeah, everyone is just unanimously in love with Lady Dimitrescu. So we'll see how that plays out when we get to play the game on May the 7th. But if you're looking for some stuff to potentially play earlier than that,
new releases and events.
There's about 10 or so games out this coming week. I don't know most of them. Oi! Bloody dogs. But they're, like, to be honest, like, I'm sure they're all great games, but I've got no real interest in playing any of these games. Is any one of these grabbing you?
I've actually seen Coffee Talk.
I was going to ask if Coffee Talk's any good.
Well, I've seen that one actually advertised quite a bit. It's appeared in my recommends every so often, so it's definitely on my radar. Kentucky Route Zero, which apparently is going to be available PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. That's another one that has just been on my radar a little bit, but yeah, I've got to finish Cyberpunk. I need to finish it. I'm sad, but I'm going to need to finish it.
Yeah, now we can get that spoiler cast going. Yeah, I didn't even mention it. I forgot to add it into the notes above, but I'm playing Hitman 3, so I'm going to try and get that finished between... Oh, that's what I need to play. Yeah, I've been playing that, and I want to get that finished between now and next episode so we can talk a bit about that. So, but spoilers,
need to play that.
It's really, really fun and really,
it looks
really good.
Fun. I watched Kind of Funny play it the other day, and I'm just like, this looks really fun.
Yeah, get on it. But yeah, that brings us to the end of the Hungry Gamers episode 225. Miss Hart, anything you want to say or highlight before we close the studio down for another week?
Yeah, Apex released a new character that's Australian, but as most things go when they release an Australian character, it feels like Australian turned up to 11. You know how you kind of get that weird irkiness where it's like you can't just be standard Australian, you got to be full-on Australian. Crikey, man.
Parody Australian, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like throwing me off. I haven't been actually looked into his abilities. It looks like he's got maybe some kind of like grenade launcher.
Grenade launcher arm.
Yeah. But he has like also this like rock star vibe, which I'm not feeling either. But either way, Australian representation, whether it's a bit too much or overboard, I don't know. Maybe everyone out there can kind of get back to me on whether they're just happy to have Australian representation or they themselves don't like it when it's kind of over comically, turned up a bit too much.
Yeah, let's chuck that out on the Twitters. We'll make that our question of the week for next week on the Hungry Gamers, and we'll sort of get a bit of a temperature check from fellow Australians and even listeners and friends abroad about what they think of that Aussie representation in gaming. Is it on brand? Is it too much? Is it a bit like, and I know some of the time it is like trying to be over the top and cheesy for the sake of it, but when they're trying to maybe ground it in a little bit of reality and realism, do they stick the landing? What's the best and worst Aussie characters out there? So we'll unpack that next week on THG 226.
And there's also that word that they may have stole that character's design as well, but I'm not gonna deep dive on that one.
Dun dun dun. Drama. All right. On that note, I think it is time to get out of here. I got to go get a haircut because I got to look pretty for Jack tonight. But until next time, 8-Bit Nation, much love!
And stay hungry.
You've been listening to The Hungry Gamers, one of many gaming and geek culture related podcasts from the 8-Bit Collective over on 8bit.net. Check out more episodes on your podcast service of choice. And while you're there, please be sure to rate and subscribe. Until next time, boys and girls, stay hungry.
I'm looking at the stills from this RE verse, and God, some of the shots look rough.
Let's put a comic filter on it so it doesn't look so bad.
And I don't get it. Like, not all the characters have the comic filter. Some of them look real, and then other ones, they've got this cell shade action going on. I don't know what they're trying to do. What are you doing, Capcom?